Hi everybody! Welcome back to Benton Homestead. Before we get into the video that we've got for you today, we just wanted to say welcome to all of our new subscribers.
We were recently featured on CNBC, which brought in over 1,000 new subscribers, which is a big jump for a small channel such as ours.
So just a super brief overview is that we are two foreigners living here in Japan via the business manager visa. We have two abandoned houses that we purchased. This one is Benton Guesthouse. It was empty for 10 years. And our house just around the corner was empty for 40 years.
The other part of our business is agriculture. We're focusing on raising Western honeybees. We also hope to get into Japanese honeybees in the future, and we're growing various vegetables, mainly hot peppers, to turn into hot sauce and salsas.
Our videos are sort of video blog style, and they vary depending on what we're working on at that time. So topics covered on this channel range from abandoned house renovation, real estate in Japan, honeybees, natural farming, immigration and visa stuff, as well as running a business in Japan.
So thanks again to all our new subscribers, and please go back and take a look at our backlog of videos. We've got a lot of videos going over some of the cool stuff we found in our house.
Alright, now on to today's video, which covers another step of cleaning out the garage at Benton Guesthouse as we work towards opening up a retro shop and roadside farm stand, but we have a lot of renovation to do before we get to that point. Alright y'all, let's jump right into one more day working to empty out this garage. I'm going to start by getting this super heavy box down from the attic and sweeping up there. These crates have a lot of function and life left in them, so let's just give them a wash. This one's falling apart a bit, so it will get recycled. We really do just come across countless crates here in the Japanese countryside, in our two houses, the garages, and in other areas that we're cleaning up. So I keep the cleanest ones for using inside the house or for storing clean things, and the ones that are only reasonably clean I'll use for storing dirty things or outside stuff. Here's that big basket from the other day, all cleaned up, so you can see how sturdy it is. It still seems to be in pretty much perfect shape. The bottom is made out of solid planks of wood. This is a burlap bag I plan to keep just for fun. Maybe I'll use it in decorating somehow. The top part there says American soybean. Well, once again, I was planning on a full workday here at the garage and I got pulled away for other things, but I managed to get a few things cleaned up. I'm going to have Evan make the final call on these fishing poles, but they are pretty grody. And last time we went to the metal recycling, we noticed that they had a bunch of fishing gear, so these might be able to go to the scrapyard for a tiny profit. This is the rest of the scrap metal and recycling that I've found. If I remember correctly, they do charge you to bring in tires on the rim, but we're probably going to do that just for ease. I found these two really cool woven baskets that we'll definitely put to use somewhere. Sorting through the last of the stuff in the garage, we got 3 more garbage bags. And this is broken glass and broken tile pieces. Unfortunately, we do have to pay to get rid of the broken glass, but the broken tile pieces I might be able to use in some sort of paving or other ramshackle project. This is a wooden bucket that I plan to put back together, even though we have probably a dozen of them. We got more knives to add to our growing pile of knives that'll need restoration. Oh great, Evan showed up.
This red liquid appears to be measuring something. Heat, perhaps? And this device will measure anything with weight.
This is a box of stuff from the garage here that we sorted when we first went through all the garage belongings. There's a few things I've been looking for in here, including this cute toaster, which I don't know if it'll be able to be sanitized and used again, but it sure is adorable. We've got some nice wood planks here for future projects. And that's it for today. We got to load up the truck and get this cleaned up because we've got some guests arriving soon.
Bye-bye.
Alright, I've got about a half day free, so I'm going to do some more work here in the garage. I ended my last work day by crawling up here and sweeping out on top of the platform. That was a good idea to do at the end of the day because of course it got super dusty in here once I swept everything off. even though I was trying to be careful and not sweep it over the edge. This corner here doesn't look like it's had any more damage since the initial water damage and this plaster fell off, but we want to keep things from getting any worse before we can get in here and make this watertight and adorable once again. I'm taking these nice flat boards and big cardboard pieces over to our neighbor Ma-chan because she uses them for weed suppressant. This here is our tomato and tomatillo garden that you're probably familiar with. That's actually on our neighbor's property. She asked us to use some of her back garden here. This is the back edge of where her property meets ours, but she asked us last year if we would use part of this property, and then this year she's asking us if we would be willing to expand and take over a little bit more of this back garden next year, which we are happy to do. So you can see I brought it over here, and this is how she likes to do weed control on her pathways. Looking closer at these giant rolls of flexible pipe, I think these are going to be great for potentially putting in an irrigation system in the tomato and tomatillo garden. I'm almost positive that's what these were probably used for originally. Alright, what I'm left with here is all old screens, old windows, massive wooden tables. These are all cool, old, historic things that I plan to use in the decoration of this shop once it is watertight, clean, and ready to function as that purpose. I know you don't want to be moving things around or have things in the way while remodeling. One option would be to move those things into this unremodeled room in the guest house, which wouldn't be too bad because it's just carrying it across the driveway. But my hesitation moving everything over here is that turning this space into a second bathroom for the guest house, which would also give us a walk-through side exit to the future side yard patio. So if I leave those things in the garage, it may potentially make that renovation more difficult, but if I bring them in here, it might make this renovation more difficult. So it's a bit of a conundrum. Now, I've got so much work to do, I don't want to do any unnecessary work, so I won't be moving anything until I know for sure that's where it will need to be. So I've got to move these cool old doors away from where they could potentially get more water damage. So I'm going to clean up this back corner and just stack these old wooden doors there where it's clean and definitely safe. This seems like a really good time to take a visual inventory of the doors that we have here so I can refer back to them in the future when I can't come dig through them. These doors are from our other house, and I actually just figured out last night that these are old exterior doors from before the upstairs was built at our house. So I'm going to be doing a video in the future showing how we figured out what was original and what was changed in their first remodel. These beautiful doors are also from the other house. They are solid wood, incredibly heavy, and one large piece of glass. We believe that they were originally used in what is now our honeybee workshop because there is a wooden door railing inside the pull-down metal screen door. I'm considering trying to figure out a way to use them here so they can be our doors for the shop when the metal door here is rolled up to signify that we're open. These two metal doors with a nice retro glass pattern also came from the other house, but we're not sure where they were from. This is a singleton and pretty sweet. Not sure where it's from, but we'll figure that out eventually. I move these out of the way. This plaster is going to fall. I'm working by myself here today. Here's the first real close look at this, and we can see that the horizontal bamboo poles have all come off, along with the inner mud and the outer plaster. I managed to save a few chunks in large pieces, so we can take a close look at those later. I should note that what you're seeing through that crack there is the corrugated metal on the outside of the shed, so it's been known for some time, at least the entire duration that the house was abandoned, which was 10 years, that this wall was failing. Alright, let's get this corner cleaned up. That's better. Let's keep moving. Okay, back to moving doors. We've got 2 of these which are larger and 4 of these which are smaller, all in this like 60s, 70s greenish wood veneer style. Really nice glass pattern on this one too. Unfortunately, the back door is missing one of the pieces. And the last of the doors that is stored over here from the other house are these solid panel wooden doors, a matching set. An old map of the islands from the year Shōwa 63. I'm gonna guess this was a ferry schedule or a bus schedule. The whole island chain wasn't connected with the bridges until the year 1999, but I believe a few of the islands were already connected at this time. Alright, now let's get the doors from the guest house in place. Some of these I did not film before because we were so busy when we were remodeling. We've got a couple different sets of these canvas doors. We have 2 of these, and while they're not in good enough shape to be used for anything besides re-canvassing, I'd like to find a way to save this canvas and frame it and use it as an art piece in the kitchen of the guest house. We also have a set of these 2 which are very lovely, and both of these sets are blank on the back side, so we figured out that the reason we had extra doors here at the guest house is these must have been on the closet doors originally when the house was built in 1953, and then when they were replaced with newer doors, which are still old, they were saved in case they could be used again down the road. So they probably didn't plan on them being used in 2024, but we might be finding a use for them now. And the last 2 fabric screens we have, these are the back side. Check this out. This is a collage pasted onto the back of this door. The newspaper says Shōwa 47, which is 1972. Just look at that style. Super cute. This bicycle lady is pasted on the other side. This was just a plain fabric door. We have this set of doors, which are the original external doors, which now serve to separate the kitchen from the room with the desk. And I kept 2 of them, but removed these 2 so the space was more open. But we're definitely keeping these around in case I change my mind in the future. And lastly, we've got 4 of these shoji screen doors. 2 of these I am going to repair, put new washi paper on, and put up in the guest house. That's because I want to be able to close off the doma from the rest of the house for heating this winter. Well, sorry about the awkward jump here, but my battery died during the last filming day, and then I decided to do another partial work day before I resumed filming so you could see the end result. Well, obviously not end result. We've got a lot more cleaning to do and preparation before we can start restoration, but this is it all cleaned out, or rather as cleaned out as it's going to be before we start working on it. So these things are just too big and heavy, and we're going to keep them in here and work around them while we fix up this garage. These wooden posts here on the right hand side are former shelves that ran all along this back area. So I'm keeping them here in case we decide to use them again in the future. I've also set aside this massive table structure, some cool tools, all the doors, the old glass, the old windows, and a few things that we're going to use for decorating this garage once it turns into a retro shop. I think you can probably see the aesthetic that I'm going to go for based on the kinds of things that I've set aside here. These are some cool hand tools, an old metal display item, an old chalkboard, and these are the old windows. So that just leaves us with this section of stuff to get rid of. Most of this furniture we are going to dismantle and turn into biochar, as I've mentioned numerous times. We took a closer look at these big hoses, and they are going to be perfect for irrigation for our fields. So that's really exciting. Just don't know where to put them in the meantime. And really, unfortunately, this nice piece of hardwood furniture is not going to be able to be saved. It has some veneer coming off, which is not a big deal. We were considering taking the veneer off, sanding it down, and staining it. But earlier this spring, actually the last rain of this spring's rainy season, we got a couple inches of water here in the garage, which the neighbors say is a once every 1 or 2 year event. We actually get that much rain. So we did lose a few items when the garage had a bunch of water flowing through it like a river. I'll make a whole video about that very soon because we are about ready to start our phase 2 remodeling, which includes taking care of this pile of rocks. We're going to be adding some drainage here along the garage and actually behind the guest house as well. So this seems like a good place to start wrapping up this video. Again, this is an unrenovated wing of Benton Guesthouse, and I stored as few items in this room as possible because that back room is going to become our beautiful future second bathroom. This is my collection of super cool wooden crates. They each have their own unique hand-painted sign on the end. I cannot wait to use these for some sort of display. Now we also have tons of these stackable wooden trays at our other house, but these specific trays were found here in this garage, and I want to leave them here as part of the history of the house. So we'll be using these in our shop display as well, but I'm not quite sure how yet. And lastly, I set aside 16 of my favorite square metal tins here. Most of them are in pairs. Again, I'm not sure what I'm going to use these for. Some people have suggested making some funky tables out of them or just using them in decoration somehow. I also have one in the guest house that I varnished and I'm using as an umbrella holder. So I just set these ones aside because I took all the rest to the metal recycling. You guys might think I'm weird, but I think these are cool. Alright, we'll end the video taking one last look at the garage here. This is the most empty and the cleanest it has been in the whole 10 years it was abandoned, as well as the right about 18 months since we've started working on it. What we have left for future videos is to take care of this stuff here at the entrance, as well as all of this stuff up here. Once that's taken care of, then it'll be empty enough to start renovating, and we believe the first step will be the roof. You gotta start with the roof, and then we'll work our way down. That's it for this episode of Benton Homestead. We'll see y'all in the next video. Pardon me, fella. Can I get you a beer? Good boy.